Hi, I'm John Hletko. I'm a mortgage banker with MBank, and I've been a mortgage banker for about 7 years. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about the process of being pre-qualified and the things that we have to do to go through to get you into your house. First thing in the whole process is getting to talk to a mortgage lender. We need to find out things like your credit score, how much you can afford, how much down payment you're going to have. There's a lot of different loan programs out there, and that would have effect on how much down payment you need. But the first thing we need to do is analyze your ability and willingness to repay via credit score. There's tricks on how to get your credit score higher, and that's something, if needed, we would talk about. Or is your credit score in an acceptable range? And then the next thing we would talk about is taking a good look at how money comes into your house. Either can be, through earnings or Social Security or however it happens. And then we sit and talk about how much of that you can use for your home purchase. We have what's called a debt to income ratio, which literally is a ratio where we put your monthly income on the bottom of the denominator, and the numerator is how much money flows out of your house. And that includes your auto payment, credit card payments, student loan payments, the potential mortgage, and taxes and insurance on the mortgage. And what that does is gives us an opportunity, or gives you an opportunity to sit down and say, okay, here's how much monthly payment I can afford, and therefore here's how much house I can afford. The best thing about doing that is it allows your real estate agent and you to talk about saying, I can afford this much house. So you're looking in the right range. You're not falling in love with something you can't afford, or you're not looking at something that is quite a bit lower. It narrows that gap and allows your real estate agent to sit down and say, look at what's important to you, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, location, the ups and downs of a home, and be able to say, hey, here's 15 of them to look at, and you can narrow this focus and get to the house that you want to get to. We talk about down payment. You can get your down payment from, it can be as little as 0% down depending on your income. You can get down, but you can also, if you have some savings, you can get gifts from related people, parents, grandparents. There's a lot of different ways to get the down payment part done. And again, that's a conversation. Some people don't have the down payment. We look for how much is the least we can do. Some people want to have 20% down. We can do that too, but it's just a matter of having that conversation to get and figure out what you want to do and what's the best thing for you, what you can afford, what's going to get you in a house you want to get into without having too big of a payment. Another thing we would talk about would be the closing costs and general costs of purchasing a home. The closing costs are going to depend on the loan program, but there's also some other costs that you've got to think about, which include your escrows and your prepaid items. You have to pay a year of homeowners insurance up front with almost any home purchase mortgage. That's something that a lot of people don't realize. And depending on the cost of the house, the insurance can be a pretty big amount of money. So we want to talk that through, make sure not only you have enough to buy the house but you have enough to move in and do it comfortably with some of the other expenses like moving and updating appliances or just cleaning and all the things that you have to do. The other thing is, as I've mentioned, using a real estate agent, and I think that's very important because you get a professional on your side who can help you go through all the little things, and they make it easier. And they tell you, here's what you have to do. Banker tells you, here's what you have to do, and you can all work together to get you to your goal, which is moving into your new home.